Hello, fellow paint wranglers. We are back at it again. I'm going to try that, the painting that I just did with the green and the blue. It is no silicone, just a boatload of Floetrol. So it's 2 parts Floetrol to 1 part paint. I have Liquitex Basics cadmium yellow, a mix of cadmium yellow and ultramarine blue. Again, mix of cadmium yellow and ultramarine blue, but obviously more blue in this one than the yellow. Those are all semi-transparent. This is phthalo blue and is opaque. So in the last painting, my theory proved correct that the opaque would wind up being the background, and it's the other colors that will sell. The cadmium yellow light hue is important, doesn't work as well with the medium or deep hue, is very cell reactive. And the idea that I had was that if I could kind of get the same effect that I was getting with the magenta and yellow and orange, which is magenta on the outside of the cell and then orange and then yellow in the center, which gave it a very 3D bubbly effect. But when I poured into my cup last time, the yellow did not sink. And so it sat on top and wound up getting poured off the edge. So we're going to try to not have that happen this time. Hopefully it will sink. And then when it sinks and it's buried in the blue, when you pour it and it all churns and you get that lovely bubbly effect. Okay, so let me put some paint in a cup. This is an 18 by 24 canvas. On the last painting I did 12 ounces of paint and it was enough to cover the whole thing. 12 ounces would not be enough to cover this canvas if you did not have a base coat. I believe you need 15. But I'm also, in this technique, really stretching the paint. Like, very, very, the more stretching, the more cells. Okay, hopefully this sinks. I did add a bit of water, my water Floetrol mix, to the paints after the last pour because I think they were just a little bit too thick to give me the effect that I wanted, and that's why the yellow was just sitting on top. It's a little more paint than I need, but that's all right. Our base coat, Artist Loft White, 2 parts Floetrol. Well, it's probably more like 1.5 parts Floetrol. It's a little bit less than what I would normally do. Okay, let's spread this out, give our paint something to slide on. If you have questions, probably answered in the previous video. I would recommend watching number 20 for this particular technique, where I go over my theory of what is causing, not necessarily what is causing, but which paints seem to sell the best. And what seems to happen is I'm using mostly semi-transparent paints and one opaque. And the opaque winds up becoming the background. But what I've noticed is the paints that sell have more of a matte appearance once they are dry than the surrounding paint. So I made a chart where I just did a bunch of color samples. This little thingy here. And I don't know if you can see that. I can't see what you're saying. But some of them dried very shiny and some of them dried very matte. The most matte was the cadmium yellow light hue. The cadmium yellow deep hue and medium hue definitely are shinier than the light hue, which leads me to believe there's something to that. This is already selling up in the cup. All right, let's make a mess. Still not coming out how I want it. I'm doing something here. Let's try something. This is all about experimenting, right? Fly by the seat of your pants. Who knows? Since I know I'm not going to get exactly what I was going for, let's just really play around. I still think that that paint was too thick. I should have added even more water to it. But it's all about experimenting. What can you do? How much can you push it? What can you substitute? What is absolutely necessary? There will certainly be more experiments to come. You want to make sure that your paint is centered, the weight of your paint, before you change directions. Okay, ran out of space while I was tilting. It happens. I forgot to clean out my trash bin on my phone. Naughty, naughty. I think I'm going to try to cover that corner. But this is also going to help stretch the paint. So the more I stretch this, there will be cells, smaller cells that'll pop up there. If I stretch it back down this way, teenagers are stealthy, can you tell? Okay, so today has been the day of interruptions. Holy moly. I think I'm going to tilt a little bit of this off. Okay, well, again, it's green, so it's not my favorite. But, you know, these are all experiments and you learn something new every time, which is the important part, is it not? But again, the phthalo blue wound up as the background. So in that sense, it's kind of predictable. You can kind of get an idea of what's going to happen. I think it will, of course, need more investigation, but I just don't love this at all. I don't love it. Maybe somebody else will love it. There's somebody out there who likes green, I'm sure. Okay, so experiments, that's what we're doing. And we'll just keep plugging away and see what happens. And now I know that it must be super, super, super thin. I went a little thicker today. I mean, I still got my big cells, but it didn't turn out the way I was hoping. With the predictability that I was able to get with the purple, yellow, magenta palette. But, well, hopefully you learned something too. I'll see you next time. Go make some art.